I completely understand. I will like organize one day or one session, I guess on Monday or Sunday. And I will start like to put all the speaking calls that we have missing. And then we are done with that. Okay, we are now online. So let me know if you have time to listen the podcast or see the video. Tell me what do you find interesting, what you like it, maybe you have some questions or you want to ask for something that results relevant for you. And after that, we will start to have some, you know, to do, discuss a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. For me, this topic about the electronic signature wasn't that new because last.
But you read it, sorry that I interrupted. You listen everything or you just put it in a couple of
Oh,
minutes and you listen?
no, I could listen like 20-25 minutes. So
That's
if,
perfect.
as you said, from the 7th minute, from 7, so 20 minutes I could listen.
Yeah, because that first 7 minutes is just, oh, we will discuss this, but then the topic starts from there. So I know that you have a lot of things to do, so it's better be quite specific. Okay, so the signature part was important or relevant for you. Why?
Yeah, because well, a year ago I was completely miss about the topic, but now that I have this, I don't know if it's computer or informatic law. So I have a professor to talk about this topic and how in the justice department in our country it works. But also I was so interested in the way someone else see this topic, because it's at some point when you're working at home, it's so risky to have your signature scanned or put it in an email.
Yeah.
So it was, for example, my mom hates that idea. That's why she always have to do it, and every time she like kind of do that affidavit, kind of like I am this signature is just only for this document, and that's it,
Yeah.
like to protect
Perfect.
herself and her work. And also, I've been talking about that risk. I didn't know, what I didn't know is that it was two ways to have this electronic signature that have encrypted a message. It was new for me, totally new. And then but what, it was something that also made me feel like it's risky. It was when you have to share your key, like this, the public key after the algorithm. Yeah, it was like, okay, you're verifying, but at some point you have my signature, and the way they talk about authenticity, how do you know that I am signing this? So it was something, for me, my signature is completely important, something I will always protect. And all the time in law school told you, first read and sign and see what you're signing and everything. um for me it will be, I don't know, maybe something I have to think about more if I have to use this program. But also I find I found interesting, when they talk about who is I mean, which kind of people is gonna develop these I don't know, websites or maybe apps to have this signature, to this electronic signature. And it's right, because some people that are like computer technicians don't understand completely how a lawyer can understand that, about the privacy, about the authenticity, because we have to prove also that you were there, that you are signing this specific document. So in that way, it will be a little harder that to prove that just a little, because I know that it have
Yeah.
some some solution because of this international private law, because for sure we have to sign, and right now we have a lot of negotiations done between the pandemic. So they did it. They have a lot of lawyers for sure that are protecting their signatures, but it
Yeah.
happened.
Okay. And from the point of view of a couple of lawyers or a group of lawyers, or from your point of view, trying to be so objective, tell me what is the challenging part on all these e-commerce negotiations, on all these international treaties and online commerce that we are having right now?
Maybe well, I have a concept that I learned last year. It was this contract of absent people, because you don't
Mhm.
really know which with uh, with which person is
Mhm.
negotiating with you. So
Yeah.
that way it will be a little harder to put your information, your I don't know, your address, your email, or that kind of like personal information. It will be challenging in the way that you have to protect that data, and you have all the laws, but you have to now to focus on what is e-commerce and how you can protect also that kind of information and signatures and things. Also with credit cards, when the pandemic started, I have to put my, I mean, all the numbers of my credit card and then this security code. And for me, it was challenging because like, can I do it? Is it safe? Am I gonna be safe? My money's gonna be safe. So for me, it will be like, as a lawyers, we can like promote this kind of e-commerce in the way that we are putting all on the table. Like, this is safe. We're explaining everything. We have situations and like we're thinking some problems and we have the solution before it comes.
Okay. And on your law school, did you see, sorry, did you see some ancestral law?
Anti what?
Como ancestral law, como la ley ancestral.
Oh, ancestral? No, 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 no. I don't remember
No,
that.
nunca lo estudiaste. Nunca lo. Bueno, este profesional es como especializado en materia de normas, todo este tema de comercio internacional desde el ámbito del derecho privado.
Mhm.
Y las leyes UNCITRAL son disposiciones de Naciones Unidas específicamente para derecho privado internacional y para arbitraje internacional. Entonces, tú que estás súper envuelta en estos temas de derecho privado, es importante los acuerdos que ellos sacan, porque si te marcan la línea, claro, es lo que yo les comentaba en clase ayer, en materia...
I saw
Ah, you saw it, right?
Yeah.
Nice. When we're talking like in a jurisdiction, it's so easy to try to understand how it's working, like all the judges and basically the system. But in an international way or wide scope, it's really hard to understand who can take decisions or how will be like working these complex situations from nations. And there is a point where ancestral, that I will put it here,
Okay.
like you can start from all the rules that United Nations give us for explain how this international arbitration will work, how we will understand, interpret, how we can manage all this international private sector. But the most important thing right now, and what they are discussing about because of that, I choose this guy talking about it, is because all this e-commerce or electronic commerce, it's a reality, and all these agreements and contracts that have been accepted so fast includes a lot of clauses that can be completely against our interest. Talking about, you mentioned before, about the data, about your bank accounts, about all your information as a customer or as I don't know, a bank.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite exposed, but also it's a really interesting topic where you can find like um, step by step how manage one of these situations from the academic world, but also on practice. And they always speak in all the declarations. They put some jurisprudence that you can check it. And it's really interesting how they apply these kind of principles. So always keep in mind, and especially for international arbitration, will be so useful this. And yeah, basically, I am glad that you catch the point or just that part, but try to see it all, and then you will be like more in context, because at the beginning he explained like, oh yes, we are working with ancestral law and etc. But also start to understand and try to give a review about all these universal standards in private law, because of course that we cannot will check it because of the time. We are so close, we are like 7 lessons before to finish this course, and we cannot see every single topic about it, but all these principles and standards and international relationships from the point of view that you like it will be so useful for your career also. Because when you are talking about one arbitration process in your country, you can start to put one kind of jurisprudence higher that
Yeah,
the
like
ones
soft
that in your
law
country.
or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but also in one specific topic like e-commerce or transnational negotiations or principles between states, and all these international standards will be applied in one case that you can get and will be useful.
Mhm.
So check it. This is the homework. And what other thing I have to tell you? What can, if I give you an opportunity to try to manage one of these, you saw the lesson of yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have the opportunity to advise one of these international organizations that they oversees this kind of negotiations or contracts, what what do you think that you can advise them or suggest them? What do
Like
you think? What area of private international law do you think that needs attention?
like the principles you talked about yesterday, or
No. About like what area, for example, if someone asked me that random question, I will say that all the maritime law
oh,
needs more attention, because it's really hard to understand how this works, the risks that we have over the sea. So if you can advise one of these, we call like United Nations, and you say, okay, we are here for discuss this topic that I imagine, that I suppose that for me it's really important that we discuss it. Which topic did you choose?
well, maybe like as the first speaking call we talked about that I wanted to be a pilot, maybe
Yeah.
about airlines, because right now we are in a challenging point because of the pandemic. Maybe some new treaty to like stabilize or put in balance the profits and the benefits for the society and the airlines too. Maybe it would be a good way to manage this problem. The way that they can invest more, well, invest as much as they can, because it's not relevant right now, but but it could
Okay.
happen.
Yes, perfect. And that is a really important topic also, because you know that they um, use a lot of people like
Yeah.
from labor law. from around all around the world, and they need like international standards, especially when you are talking about one of the big airlines.
Yeah.
Like the
Emirates.
pilot, yeah, the
Yeah.
pilot is from France, and then all the people working on the airplanes, they have like a lot of nationalities, and they
Yes.
need to make that work. So of course that all the contracts are in English, all the
Mm-hmm.
consulting stuff, and this is a really interesting topic. And the aeronautical and law is not common at all.
No.
And saying that that's what was the other, like the football players law?
Yes, I've seen that too. I've seen that
Yeah,
too. It's
it's like
a lot of money
crazy.
moved
And they
this
are
money.
studying. They start to studying, like they start to create some post graduations
Wow.
for just this area, and nobody studied it. I guess that in Colombia, if you can find 2 or 3 lawyers that do it.
Wow. Here I think no one. In Peru, like
Yeah.
no one.
So imagine that you don't have like competence. You can start to do your stuff and get clients so easy, doing clients.
Yeah, I manage this contract between like these football clubs. Yeah,
FIFA,
have a lot of money.
yeah, I am the lawyer of FIFA.
What?
This is my Lamborghini. Don't touch it. Don't see it like that. Okay, we can continue dreaming. Especially that area is like, for me, it's actually quite interesting to see it and to study it, but I know that you like it more than me. Okay, Silvana, it's always a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank
I
you.
will please ask you that you fill a survey, and I will see you tomorrow in our lesson. We
Yeah,
will
tomorrow is
talk
next.
tomorrow about if you want to study or like prepare. Tomorrow we will talk about medical negligence.
Okay. How do you? Yeah,
So it will
I
be a really interesting topic. For me,
yeah,
it's like mind
yeah,
blowing. Okay, so I see you tomorrow. Have a nice
yeah.
night.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, thanks to you. Bye bye. Hello, hello, how are you?
Hi, Ali.
How is
Fine.
everything going? Are you so tired? I can't imagine.
Yes, and I start to do some exercise and I do use the outfit, but almost 7 o'clock and I don't have time.
Okay, but do you have time to figure out or maybe to see the video or maybe listen to the podcast or part of the
Yes,
podcast?
I see some part of the video, but has very words, new words. So
Yeah, nice.
yes,
It's really, it's for me like it's a really bad thing that you cannot see like the subtitles because
yeah, and I'm trying to found in YouTube, but only have a um
a part of it,
no, part no. Como que this video it's about digitals signature, something like that. It's only 1 minute, so nothing.
thank you. So useful.
Yes, and in the description of the video, go to the principal page to the page that you give for us.
Nice, 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 perfect. Okay, so tell me what part do you listen or do you have the opportunity to study? What part results like really amazing for you or really interesting or really new? And from that, we will start to discuss it.
Something that really I see until 30 minutes, but it's so difficult. I don't know why to understand. So
Yeah,
yes, I understand something about that digital signature of or danger or to use that this
like
is
risky, like
really
that.
risky.
Yeah,
There is to use the digital signature. I listening something about two ways or two forms, something like that, to digital signature. Something that encrypted.
yeah, encrypted.
And another is for um to share something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I the first time I listened about encrypted,
Yeah.
so I
But
think to
I'm so sure that you understand the concept because every time that you will start a new conversation on WhatsApp, you saw a message that say like, hello, all the message that you send from this point to the other point is encrypted. Blah, blah, blah. That means like you are creating like a kind of signal online that just two
yes,
parts can read it.
where in online shopping, como que when your credit card to the encrypted, this is is a like a I don't know how to say padlock, I think a padlock when
¿Qué
it's
cosa?
como que candado, sale como en la parte del link un candado que es como que encriptado para que sea una página segura para comprar.
Ajá, ajá,
Como
ajá.
que I
Like
think
advice, like a new, a pop-up. Is the pop-up, que te lo voy a escribir acá, es la manera en la que lo conoce Google. A pop-up.
pop up is well, I understand that that's
Pop-up.
encrypted,
Mhm.
something encrypted is synonym of secure. So and a
Yeah.
part of that is important to private international private law, all about digital signature um, increment too much with the pandemic
Mhm.
because well everyone don't have contact, so it's apart from that different to many people start to in a paper como que your her or his signature and take a picture and send to or maybe don't think direct to in the cell phone or computer.
Yeah. The people that start to figure out some forms for
Wh-
work on it.
what
Like,
I
hello, now, now. Can you listen?
Sí, o sea, se corta, así como que
No,
form
no.
y yeah, okay.
Ahora. ¿Me escuchas?
Sí, sí.
Okay. The people, of course, that start to take some advantage of this and start to do that the things works actually. So the people do these things with phones, but also with some apps like Cam Scanner. And
Yes.
yeah, it's a way that I send documents. It's like,
Yes.
yes. I know, but all that digital and online world have some risks, and these international trades teach us or explain us some principles that we can adapt to this online world and how we can reduce the risks about it. Do you listen before in your law school something about ancestral?
What?
Ancestral, the ancestral law.
No. Antitrust. No.
Bueno, en español es un poquito, o sea, las siglas son peores, que son como así, te lo voy a copiar y te lo voy a pegar, porque lo tengo aquí en Google. Esta es una oficina de Naciones Unidas que se encarga de, así, ¿dónde estás? Aquí. Te lo voy a anotar aquí en español. Entonces las siglas son algo así como CNUTMI. Ahí puedes ver. Entonces, esta, like the ancestral law, or en español, la Comisión de Naciones Unidas para el Derecho Mercantil Internacional, they establish some principles, articles, standards, and universal standards for due interpretation or for understand how this world is working, right? And they also start to put or pay attention in this kind of international behaviors and the commerce, how these e-commerce have been like developing for years, but actually is the reality. If your business is not online, you basically didn't exist. And these kind of behaviors results in some contracts or international contracts, or actually you can find just a terms and conditions online, you accept it and it's done. But the most of the times the people didn't read it or didn't understand it completely or didn't take the time to analyze it. And that is the problem, because you're accepting something about your data, the use of all your information, and you are kind of like out of control because you are not having like an international judge that oversee this. So these kind of things and other topics is the base that all these international organizations start to study and establish some parameters for develop this situation. So Gabriela, this is just a part that I explained to you that for me results come risky or starts to be really insecure from some aspects, but from other ones is really easy and the interactivity is faster. You do your shopping and you didn't need to go to Selected, you got it in your house, and it's like always some benefits and some contradictions. But let me know, what do you think about all this international online commerce?
Como international about trades. About
Yeah, yeah, like this e-commerce. You know what is e-commerce? Like online
Yeah,
or
shopping.
electronic commerce? Yeah.
Yes. Well, I bought international the last year, so
Yeah.
it's difficult. Not difficult because it's the same, but it's necessary to you read the laws because in different countries it's totally different. To for example, when you buy makeup to here to Peru, you only buy 4 products. So because if is the mass is provided, so uh, it's the well, I think many people believe in recommendations. because if her or his own way, maybe it's difficult to trust. So if they how do you say that? If they listen or know that other people use that platform or e-commerce, they can use they can use that e-commerce.
Mhm. And what do you think about all these documents going online, or, for example, but also in our judicial areas, we can see that all the notifications, the affidavits that you need to create in some specific case, you can do it online. Even you can drop a message by WhatsApp, and then you can understand that one of the parts or the lawyers get like the meeting or the session or the trial. So how
Well,
do you see that? Do you think that is useful?
uh, well, it's not maybe useful just because some documents it's necessary to have a signature for its official. But now, maybe I have in a moment a document for a judge. Maybe have the same encrypted signature to is official or something like that.
Okay. Do you have time to because you was yesterday in our session? No.
No, I say to on Monday. No, Monday. Yes, on Monday I cannot. But I listened a part of the class, but maybe change 20 minutes, but other 40 minutes it's necessary to listen.
Okay, because I'm not so sure if you were there or not, but
No,
okay,
no.
we will imagine that. I hope that you can find a little bit of time to saw that session, because it's really important. We talk about some interpretation basis that will help to understand of all these private law, and especially international private law. You are interested in this area or not really?
Not really, because in the university when I private a lot, I don't like to match the to that, but it's interesting. But uh, the private international private law and I don't combine too much.
Okay. And what other thing is so important?
But I think it's necessary to know a little of every topic, I think.
Yeah. Do you know, or do you found some people that have been like victim of a crime in international commerce, or in Peru, but doing like agreements by internet?
Mm, not the way international, but here, yes.
Why? What happened?
Uh, it's not common, but it's maybe knows when someone in your phone a message to you win a prize is on it's necessary to your numbers of your credit card in this link. So it's so
Yeah.
popular and many people believe that. I don't know why, because it's so fake, but people believe that.
Okay, and the people get victim of a crime or victim of
But
fraud.
but international is not so common, I think.
Yeah, maybe we are not getting a lot of relation with that, but it's always important to see these kind of situations from the point of view of the law, right? So how we will affront these kind of experiences. That happens with all this pandemic. I have been to see all my process online, and it's really hard. It's like the secretary of the judge sent me the pictures of all the process.
Yeah,
And it's like,
and
I miss
sometimes
my paper.
the quality of the picture it's so bad. So
Yeah.
but,
Yeah, it's really hard. For me, it's
yes,
challenging.
it's difficult to this way because sometimes you have a paper and next week you have all online to read in the computer all day. It's so difficult.
Yeah, I can understand. And okay, I will reschedule all these speaking calls that we are having deal with. We need to recreate a format, and I will understand who is missing of one of these sessions, and I will create a space for getting updated. So I will figure out if you owe me some that I'm not sure. I need to check.
I
And
think one.
having here Gabriela, de una vez lo miramos, así la
Or
programamos.
two.
Déjame ver de una vez. Le damos a esto avance. Entonces, Gabriela, tú me
Just
debes una del 18, déjame ver si puede que no. Febrero. Dame un segundito. El 18, no, esta no es. 18, luego el martes, el viernes. Me debes una.
yes, or the problem I have in my home with the light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sí.
And yesterday I sent you the report.
Yeah, no worries. I am having I am waiting that. Sorry.
Bless you.
Thank you. I am waiting that all of you send me the papers, and I will create a space for oversee it or check it everything, and then take notes about my feedback. And on our next speaking call, we will discuss it, and I will give it some points, especially in redaction.
Okay.
But no worries. If you send that to my email, I will have time to check it.
I want to confirm because sometimes maybe a dot or a letter.
Yeah, okay. I will send it right now to your WhatsApp, and then the people cannot see my identity. Gabriela. Tu número termina en 69, ¿verdad?
Yes.
Parece de banco. ¿Y tu tarjeta de crédito? Listo. Entonces, este es mi correo.
Yeah, I will.
Te lo acabo de enviar a tu WhatsApp.
I will send you again for
be sure.
For be sure, yes.
For be sure, okay. And before you leave, I will please ask you that you feel this will be a solved waste, and
yes, I respond
to do it. Okay, perfect. And I will see you soon tomorrow in our session.
Tomorrow in the class, yes.
Yes.
And Friday it's speaking call. Really?
Yeah, we have. Maybe if you need one specific time because your studies, let me know and I will take notes about it.
Yeah, it's okay for this schedule.
¿A esta hora está bien para ti? ¿A las 8? Sí. ¿A las 7:45?
Sí, sí.
Okay.
Sí, porque para mí es una hora menos, ¿verdad? Me había olvidado.
Sí.
Okay. This is everything?
Yeah, it's everything. Yeah. We are done. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Gali.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, see you tomorrow. Hello, how are you? Why you are so glamorous tonight? What
Thank you.
happened? Did you have a date or what happened? You look
No.
so beautiful.
I actually was with my family. I was taking care of my niece and my nephew, but yesterday I got my hair done, so it just stayed like this.
Mm,
Yeah, you're
you
so
look
used to seeing
beautiful.
me. Oh,
Yes, I
thank
like,
you.
of course, that I see my students. Of course, that I see when they look always you are beautiful, but other days you are more beautiful. So, yeah.
Oh, you are. Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. How are you?
Oh, I'm a little tired. I'm sorry. These days have been a little complicated because like I told you, I started to work again, and it's not
Yeah.
like on a schedule that is like from 9 to 5. It's anytime, anywhere they need me. So it's been a little bit hard because this arbitration that I'm leading has been like stuck for more than a year. So now we have to be
Keep going.
very fast. Yeah. So I've been
Yeah,
doing
I can
that.
imagine.
I sent you my paper this morning too.
No worries.
And as I was trying to take care of the children, I was listening to the video, and it's actually gonna be very useful to me, this topic that we're seeing now, because
Okay.
my arbitration is going to be virtual because of the pandemic, and I'm going to need to know about the electronic signatures and all of that.
Okay, perfect. So I know
Yeah.
that are you like connected with this private sector? I'm not sure if it's international or not, but you are connected and dealing with these things. So I need to ask you if you listen sometimes about anti-troll.
Yeah, but not very deeply. Just like
Okay.
I knew it was there, but I never got into it. I'm I'm a little bit more of national private law. That's what I've been
Okay.
doing. What I saw in university was very general, and yeah. So this is kind of like something
Okay.
I know I need to
No
know,
worries. So no
but
worries.
it's a little bit new.
Bas-
Okay.
Basically, the ancestral law is like a commission that belongs to United Nations for advice in some situations, but also to be the top one in international trade law. And it's so connected with private international law. When we talk
Okay.
about this ancestral law o la ley ancestral, o en español sería como la CNUDMI, es como la Comisión de las Naciones Unidas para el Derecho Mercantil Internacional, ¿sí?
Okay.
But
Okay.
also, it's not necessary that we are dealing with an international case. We can use one of these documents, principle arguments, or interpretations for one case or one specific case, one specific area or topic, even with national arbitration. So maybe can help you
Yeah.
to solve some doubts, but also to try to move the process and try to push them by some principles that they are using, of course. They are like the most important organization related with international private law, and it's always so useful. Do you have time to listen all the video or just a part? And tell me what part
No,
do you find like interesting?
okay, I was trying to listen. I did the first part, more than 15 minutes, I think. And yeah, I thought I first thought this is gonna be very helpful for me because of the electronic documents and what he was explaining, the authenticity. That was what caught my attention, apart from the electronic signature thing that I'm going to be using and I need, because in my procedure, we are going to exchange documents only by email. And I was trying to think of a different platform that can be maybe more secure. I don't know if that's going to be very needed because the arbiters didn't say, okay, we have to be a little bit more safe. But the thing about the authenticity of the signature, the electronic signature, I think it's going to be very important, especially nowadays with the pandemic and everything is changing. So we need to know
Yeah.
these things. And the part of the electronic documents too. So I
So
intend
how,
to watch all the video.
of course, no worries at all. The idea is that you just catch a part and then we can discuss a little bit. But I want to know what part do you find like really risky or that will be challenging for all these like digital signature or electronic commerce in your country?
Yeah, I think we are very behind when it comes to electronic matters in general, especially when we have to deal with judicial procedures or even arbitration, because maybe we would have to change the whole law that we are managing, that we are using, to be able to get like very deep in the electronic matters, like the electronic signature and all of that. We are being like how do you say, held back our own legislation. I think our Código de Procedimiento Civil, civil procedure, yeah,
Code.
that is like,
Code.
I don't know how many years it had, and we have to reform it. Like we have to reform everything so that we are able to really take advantage of the technology. And I am very, I'm a little bit old in my head. Well, I'm not young either when it comes to my age, but I'm a little bit like this when it comes to electronic stuff. I always rather something that is physical. And I think that that is a thinking that is like common in my country. I don't know if in Latin America, but in my country,
I guess that we have some advance.
yeah,
Depending
we need
of which country we are talking about, but in general, we are, for example, in comparison between Bolivia and Colombia, we have other possibilities like to pay online, to pay even in the stores. You can go, it's so common that you can go always to a restaurant and you pay with your debit or credit card. Here, it's really hard to find, just like the top restaurants you can find, but then you cannot go to a normal restaurant and pay with credit. It's not possible. You need to have cash. So it's just a little bit weird. And as always, we have some benefits and some stuff that can be seen as controversial, especially with all these signature stuffs, because you didn't really, in Colombia, it's really hard that you get like a document that affirms your identity by that signature. That is like with commerce, when you are so involved in commerce law and when you have your own business, maybe you can get it and you need to pay for that service, as always. But then if you want to use it as a natural person, you don't have any control about it, and so easy, and your information is everywhere, and it's really hard to get or to have a little bit of control about it.
Yeah, I once went to kind of like a seminar that was explaining how the digital signature. I know that there's a difference with the electronic signature, but this was a seminar that was talking about. At least that's what I understood from the video that you sent us. But
en Colombia, porque aquí no sé cómo se llama, pero en Colombia, solo para por si te sirve para tus temas de aplicamiento y lo que sea, en Colombia la encargada de hacerlo es Certicámaras, que es como una entidad anexa a la Cámara de Comercio de Bogotá. Y ellos se encargan como de decir, es Pepito firmando, le colocan como unos sellos digitales, la encriptan, lo que sea, tú pagas por ese servicio y luego es completamente válida, tú la anexas a los documentos. Pero es really, pero es difícil si tú no estás relacionado con ese sector.
Exactly. It was like we have this way of making sure that you are you and you are the only one that is able to use this signature. But I was thinking, I don't remember much of it because it was like more than a year ago. But my boss is kind of like an expert, was like an expert in this matter. And he always said to me, and I think he's right, it is very hard that the people like really, really get into it in here in our circle. Like it's going to take a lot of time to make it like a conventional way of dealing with things. I think it can be in how do you say, instaurado?
Can be like, ¿qué quieres decir antes y después?
Puede ser instaurado con el tiempo, con un no sé cuánto tiempo.
Okay.
Pero por lo menos por lo pronto, I don't think it's going to be easy to make it,
Yeah.
even with
We
the
can,
pandemic.
yeah, like it can start to be useful with time, or we can start to apply it with time, or base it on, como basado en, aplicado. Porque es el tema, instaurar es un verbo, it's like, you can say like build, como
I don't know why
crear,
I think
construir.
words. But
Okay.
yeah, I think I'm going to watch the whole video,
Mhm.
and I'm going to have another look at the class that I couldn't attend yesterday, because I
Yeah.
really need it. I need this information, and I need to know it very well, because I'm going to work with it.
Yeah, no worries. I know that you have been like involved in troubles or with issues with the work at university and etc. So
Yeah.
just when you have time, get an update about the lesson, and we will discuss your paper on Friday. And for all of you that now you are connected, we are having like some topic with the schedules, because Christian needs to reschedule it, so we will wait a little bit for don't get out of control. And yeah, so the idea is that we can discuss the paper, and
Okay.
when you have time, just try to follow like all the podcast or the video,
I will.
and check maybe for your case right now you can figure out something really useful in the ancestral agreement.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. I'm going to need it, and it's pretty interesting too.
Okay, nice. Glad that you like it. Okay,
Yeah.
Laura, so that is everything for tonight. I will just ask you that you fill the survey before you leave. And yeah, I see you tomorrow in our lesson. Have a good night.
Done. Thank you so much. Have a good night,
Okay.
you too.
Yeah, bye-bye. Okay, Rafael and Crisia, who is in rush right now? Who has to do something?
I think it's my turn.
Yeah. It's your turn, like 8:30. But I just figured out, and was my mistake, I give the same time to Crisia that she asked for. Entonces necesito que me digan quién tiene algo súper urgente que hacer para cogerlo de primeras, y si otro me puede esperar hasta las 45. Si tienen afán, si tienen...
Si quiero, yo espero hasta las 45, no hay problema.
¿No tienes problema?
No, no tengo problema.
Súper, entonces ya nos vemos. Si te quieres quedar ahí, no hay ningún inconveniente. Y así de paso ya ves cómo es la dinámica. Ok. So, Rafael, do you have time to see one part of the video, or maybe listen a part of the
Yes, I
podcast?
saw about 20 minutes of the video.
Okay, nice. How did you find it? Like interesting?
Yeah, it was interesting. The reason is that I worked in the Oficina Gestora de Procesos, so we see some things about digital signatures and other things like that.
Okay.
So it was very interesting for me.
And how do you manage this stuff? How do you manage, like in your office, all these signatures, like digitalized?
Yeah, on these days we are registering the population in this digital citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
That is a project of the tribunal for in order to working the cases in a digital way.
Mm-hmm.
To notify the people to all the movements of their cases, and they could see all the advantage that they have in their situations.
Okay. And what do you think that is the hardest part, or what part result more with more risk about it?
I think the harder part of the project is work that in our country. You know, we are not a first world country, so not all the people have this possibility to or knowledge to use their cell phone, for example, or use technologies like the mail and other things. For example, my father is lawyer, but they need help all the times to use him phone. So I think it could be problematic in the future. A lot of people could be confused about what they are doing with it because we don't have a. I think we don't have a. I don't know the word. Something like technology culture to use it.
Yeah, like all the skills or all the mechanisms for being in front of these electronic areas or development.
When we work with old lawyers like I don't know 60 years, they really don't understand all these
Matters.
new concepts. Yeah.
Oh my God. I can imagine. What do you think that is the advantage of all these e-commerce or online trades or online contracts and signatures?
Well, it could came easier the way where we are notify and work in the law, and it could be mm, it could be very important in times like now, like right now when we are living a quarantine and we can, and it's very dangerous for some people behind in the tribunal to recover all the knowledge that we need in their case. But with this technology, they just they just could see all these things in their phones.
And
That's
that is really useful. Yeah.
yeah.
And what about like the commercial area? Do you feel safe doing like shopping online?
I never shop online actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't trust a lot. I think it's very risky, but that is because I don't know. I really don't know about buy buy things in on internet. But if millions of people buy all the days in pages like eBay and they don't have problems, I think it it will be it could be secure.
Yeah.
But
Like we always need to find a way to move on. And yeah, it's quite risky, but if you do all this stuff how you need or you have to do it, it's fine. So it's hard to start to trust, but it's always so useful. I am paying like all my services online, like the phone or all the public services. I pay it online and save me time or save time of my family. Going to the bank and taking turn and wait and pay, and I do it like with some clicks and that's it. So it's useful. I want to
yeah,
ask you, Rafael, if you listen in your law school the anti-troll rules, como las leyes de un citral. ¿Algún día escuchaste?
I don't remember something like that.
No, no te preocupes. Las leyes UNCITRAL son como unas disposiciones o unas interpretaciones de una oficina especializada de Naciones Unidas para el derecho mercantil internacional, ¿sí? Solo que, bueno, las siglas en inglés de UNCITRAL es like United Nations, Commerce, United Nations Commission of International Trades Law. It's more, you can find there like a lot of articles, interpretations, point of view, and doctrine that you can apply to all the cases in your country. And yeah, it's like the kind of jurisdiction in the international world, but it's not really a jurisdiction. It's just like an advisor or a consulting. And they work in different topics, like connected with some agreements or with some structures in government. And they try to make like projects. They try to make projects and invest some resources for help with the development in each region. This is so important because of time we cannot see it on the course, but I want that you maybe in your free time you try to get the information, and yeah, we can analyze it in other session, or maybe when we start to discuss about it in our speaking lessons or in speaking calls in the next week. Maybe you can read it and try to find what part do you think that is controversial, but also can helps to analyze your contexts and apply it in other circumstances. Maybe that you're getting involved because of your job, or maybe one day you be consultant, or etc. Okay, and hopefully you can find a little bit more of time for listen all the video. I guess that at some parts start to turn quite boring, but the information is useful, and he's a really huge expert in these matters. So
yeah, because digital signature is really complicated, and we use some things to signature some documents in order to validate this. We use some things that I really understand, like tokens, that are like digital case, and this code hash.
what is that?
Hash.
I never listened.
Yeah, I'm going to write it.
Okay.
I really don't know how it works, but it is used to verify that the document that was sending from other place doesn't have any change in the middle of the project from other computer to our computer.
Okay, nice.
But
I will read about it. It's the first time that I'm seeing it. You know that I'm an old woman. but yes, thank you so much. And Rafael, our time is done. So before you leave, I will please ask you that you fill the survey. And you have time to read these articles about businesses, negotiations, and customers. Would be important for your professional development.
Yeah, I'm going to read it.
Yeah, okay. And thank you so much for your time. I will see you tomorrow in our lesson.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. Vanessa, hello, how are you? I missed you too. I missed yesterday. What happened?
Well, everybody was using well, everybody had a meeting, an important meeting in my home.
Hello, tengo mala conecta.
Sign on. That's why. Yes, because it's necessary to have more. I don't know dates. I don't know how to say this. Datos. Now my connection it is not really good.
Like
So I don't know
data.
why.
Yeah, I don't have like data, mobile data.
Yes, because no, it is not working. We have already called to Tigo for asking what is happening right now, but anybody say anything, so it's kind of hard.
Okay. Listo. Perfecto. So I want to ask you if you saw the lesson like on YouTube, maybe, or the topic is completely new for you.
I was watching the video, but I didn't realize really good. So then I make a mistake because I thought the the little article that you sent
Yeah.
who talk about X40. So I was reading
About
both. So I think both
no,
were really important and interesting, but I didn't. After
no worries.
it was really late when I realized what was the task for today.
Yeah, no worries. We will discuss a little bit, but you didn't arrive to our lesson yesterday, and you saw
Yes,
that you was there. You were there.
I was there. Yes, I was there.
Yes. Ah, okay, because yesterday was like a lot of people didn't arrive, so I am like, okay, so no worries. This
But
Lex 40, this Lex
exactly
40,
I was here. Yes.
we are like fighting. This Lex 40 is just important for get some basis on interpretation in international law, but it's not the, just was the document that I mentioned during the lesson where I take some information just by your knowledge. But the important thing and the matter here that we are focusing the attention was the United Nations video about these international trades or e-commerce and all these new areas in law. Okay. So do you have time to listen a little bit or not really?
Not really, not at all, but just a little bit, yes, I think, because for understand something, I need to listen more than once. But
Yeah.
I did it, but I didn't realize everything, so it was a little bit complicated to understand for me.
Okay, no worries. So we will start for the base. In your law school, do you find, or maybe at some subject, do you study the ancestral law?
Again, please, I didn't understand you good.
Ancestral, the ancestral law, las leyes uncitral o las reglas uncitral. ¿Lo
I
estudiaste?
don't know. No.
¿Alguna vez lo estudiaste?
Well, during the university, I didn't saw this.
But by other things that you have doing like your career, someday did you listen about it? Tengo mal internet.
Video was related with, well, had a kind of relation with all aspects in an electronic way who can develop a thing that could involve some kind of laws. For example, criminal law, intellectual property, competition, taxation, something like this. And well, I was understand that it's necessary to make a kind of rules for some things in during or inside the internet and all the things that electronic things involve. So that was one of the things that I understand in this.
Okay. The ancestral rules is the United Nations Commission on International Trade Law. And it's so common when you are working with arbitrament or arbitration, mediation, because this is a huge organization that results or that they create some interpretation rules, some aspects, articles, and important things that you need to get involved in one national case, but also they are related with a lot of areas like of life. And they try to analyze how this international trade works and how this private international law works. And they analyze the possibilities that you can get when you are doing like e-commerce or this signature stuff, when you do like your signature online and all this encrypted information, your data, your human rights, they always talk about this information, and they have like some informs every 3 months or something. And you can like find information if you are really interested in. By the time that we are having in our course, we cannot study like so deeply the ancestral. We will discuss it a little bit in our speaking calls. And it's important that you understand that exists and how this works, how you can get some advices from business, from business to customers, but also between nations, or from customer to customer when you are talking from groups, or for customer service, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Sorry, I
Don't
am
worry.
quite tired.
I think yes.
And
All the day.
yeah, but okay, no worries. I want to know your opinion about what is the risky part, or what is the most difficult part that you figure out in these international commerce agreements, but also in all this e-commerce world, like all this shopping online or businesses online, when you are talking about different things, right? Money, and your data, and your data protection, the terms and condition of
Exactly.
buying some products. So I'm giving you like a wide scope where you can talk and you can discuss in these 80 minutes. What do you think? What do you think that is the most difficult part, and are some of the advantages of this situation?
Well, okay. First of all, I think one of the things that is really amazing for me is how, by the way, social media is managing our information, because it's kind of hard to watch inside our cell phones, our accountments, every kind of how can I explain this announcement,
Yeah,
publicity,
yeah, you
yes,
can say
because they are showing exactly.
publicity or sponsored information.
Okay, because they are using our preferences just for showing us what they think we are going to buy. So I think it's kind of hard because by the way,
Yeah.
Facebook with Facebook owner. So she said that they are not managing in a bad way our information, but it's kind of hard because I think 2 or 3 years ago, Facebook started to use our information to show us all the things that they think we are going to buy. So they are managing our information to make us, well, to try to the app. So I think it's kind of hard because we don't know how important could be our information inside the internet, especially when we are talking about, for example, the competition between two really big countries, for example, United States and China, because they are using our information also to send, to make us spend lots of money. So in that way, we don't know also for which other things, what other things they are using our information. In any
Yeah.
case, they are showing, of course, the things that they think that we have to think about it. For example, if something is working in a bad way to the government of the United States, for example, where they are going to ban all these things, and they are going to show us how we have to think, and they are going to block all the people who is talking in a bad way, or who's telling the truth, or they are telling kind of experience that is not really good or enjoyable. And they are going to block it. They are going to ban it. That and that is not okay because they are just want to protect the that image that is perfect. But when we are talking about to another government that is not really a good friend, from example United States, will they are going to let us know that for fill us with the information that is not really good, that is even not really true. So even though it's kind of hard because they are using us to give us some information that is not really true. And in everything, in every time, in every case, we are trying, by the way, to use these social media to explain something. And most of people, by the way, because I was really surprised at how lots of people are talking about the people who had suffered kind of I don't know how to say violación in English.
You can say like a sexual harassment.
Harassment, exactly. So
Ahí yo procesando.
yes, I just forgot it too. But
Yeah.
they're trying to use this for have a voice, because in a simple way, in a judicial or in a processal way, we are not finding justice. And by the way, all the people are using this for claim justice, but it is not just working in any way, because most of crimes, by the way, are happening in the media. They are happening in the internet. They are happening next to us. We can find lots of criminal organizations inside the internet, inside the same Facebook, and could be really, really near to us, but we don't know. There are a lot of things who can manage a lot of girls, drugs, and even pornography, children pornography, and we are really next to him, and we don't know how to work about it, because internet it's really selected with the things that they don't want to show us, because the things that have or earn money, they are going to steal in the world, because they are most of things. Even though in YouTube we can find lots of I don't know how to say that, videos that are made for kids, but they are not really good for kids because they are really weird. But you can find them in YouTube Kids. But why is a really big question, because YouTube, by the way, are banning lots of YouTubers who make kind of videos that are not at the same as YouTube likes to be, for example, but they are admitted these kind of videos that are really weird for kids. So it's kind of hard. It's necessary to still having an eye over the rules over internet, of course, because I think we have to work a lot in this, because I think it's never enough, because internet is really a big monster.
Yeah. Okay, your point of view is really valuable. And now of course, that I understand the whole point. But now I wanted you, in these 2 minutes, to tell me about one huge advantage that you can see in all these trades agreements or contracts online.
Okay. Well, I think the most important thing is that something we can make a contract in a in a way that is really, really directed. I don't know how to explain this.
Yeah, in a really direct way. And also like all the interactions or the interactivity between the parts or the parties or the people involved in the contract. It's faster.
Because even though we can find kind of specialist or something like this really near to us. For example, if I need a really good psychologist, well, we can find a really good one in internet, and it doesn't matter where is him or where is she. We can talk with him by internet, and that is a really good advantage, even for make a kind of contract, negotiations between two parts. And so this could be really is a shortcut for make a lot of things that between it was really complicated to do. So in another way, I think is really useful also to claim for justice, to talk about a crime that is not being processed in a good way. So I think well used could be a really good way to claim for justice, or make, for example, make the government do some things that are really well done, for example, or give them celeridad. I don't know how to say this. Celerity?
Yeah, or that make that the process start to, you can say like run a bit, but you can also say to get the attention of the judge, or try to follow in the procedural faster.
Exactly, because I know that, by the way, now in a university in La Paz, there are lots of girls that have been harassment for some guys that used to have the power to the student, the student organization. So most of them had a process, but they were forgot it, and they are opening again those cases because lots of victims started to talk about it in the internet. So I think
Oh my
it could
God.
be a really good way to focus the problem.
Okay. That is a really good point of view, and thank you so much for sharing with us. Thank you, Vanessa. We will reorganize your other session or the things that we have been missing. I need like to do the schedules and talk with all of you. And before you leave, I will please ask you that fill the survey, and I will start right now with Daisy. Thank you so much for your time. We are done for tonight.
Okay, I'll do it. Okay.
Okay, thank
See
you.
you,
Bye
Gali.
bye.
Thank you so
See
much.
you. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Daisy, hello. Good night. How are you?
Hello, Gary. Good night. I'm fine.
How's everything going?
Fine.
Okay. Do you have time to read the article?
The article, I saw
Sorry,
the video.
the video or the podcast, because you saw that it's
Yeah.
like video and audio. And
Yeah.
did you saw some part all completely? Was difficult? Was hard? I know that is a really hard one, and no worries. Chris is telling me like, "Oh no, Gali, I'm shy." No, shy. Why? It's a really, really hard topic, even for the ones that are lawyers. So no worries, you are fine. And just let me know what part do you understand.
Okay, I saw like 20 minutes of the video, and because I saw it many times, but I don't know, I didn't cap all the video. Just I saw like 20 minutes, but I understand that it was like a conversation, not conversation, but like um they were trying to say that the law is slower. I mean, the technology is advancing too much nowadays, but law is slower than technology. So the law has to be more actualized. I don't know, and because, for example, in the
Update.
case in the
Update.
court updates. So in the court, in the where the lawyer is doing some cases, or they are in the court and they need to present like some evidence, so they need to present a virtual evidence, but they can't because the court they say that just present like documents in physical, like paper, but so many times they need to present a virtual evidence. I thought that was like that the video, but the importance to present like virtual or in the computer, the fight is because the document have to present the integrity. Don't lose the integrity of the document, of the evidence, because if lose the integrity, so won't be available to use it. And when I wrote some ideas here, and like when you send a document, I mean a email, a message by a computer, in a computer, this is the original document, but for example, if I create a document, a PDF document, this is the original PDF. This is the original document, but if my teacher print this document, is a copy, it's not the original. So we need like laws that that protect this information. I don't know, something like that. I understand in the video.
Yeah, no
And,
worries. It's a
and that
topic
the
really hard.
also that the lawyers have to adapt the abilities in this war with technology is important. So we don't need like lawyers, don't need new like new, I don't know how to say it. So they don't need to create new things. So they need to adapt themselves in a world with many technologies. So just that.
Okay, what do you think that is the most complex part of all this digital world?
Well, for example, that present a virtual evidence in a court, I think like so complex because many people have access to computer, to tools of internet, so they easily um, can't, I don't know how to say it, alterar, they can borrow evidence.
Change? Yes, they can change, they can
Change,
modify.
yes, modify so many documents that lawyers can use it for evidence. Or for example, in account of bank, if you want
Bank account? A bank
account,
account?
bank account,
Bank account.
bank account. So if a lawyer want to present or see a bank account of a client or of the another people that is not a client, easily this information can be modified, and then one will lose the integrity. So I think it's the most difficult part. And I was thinking about that, yes, a virtual evidence, but it's not like the same. It's not like, for example, if you present a print a document like about an email that your client sent to another person, but you present in a paper, so it's a copy, it's not the real document, the original. So I don't know, it's a complex for me thinking about it.
Okay, one of the first parts talk about the ancestral rules. I will put it here in the chat and then you can check it. I'm not sure if you can check all the chat. So, uncitral, las leyes de uncitral. Esto va a ser muy importante para cuando tú llegues a tus clases de Derecho Internacional Privado y de Derecho Comercial. Estas leyes de uncitral o normas de uncitral son, o se llama uncitral porque es like United Nations Commission of International Trade Law. Es como la Comisión de las Naciones Unidas para el Derecho Mercantil Internacional. Y ellos como que marcan la raya de cómo se tienen que hacer este tipo de negociaciones, cómo los actores están involucrados, cómo la negociación puede ser factible, los estudios de prefactibilidad, todo lo que pueda envolver este tipo tan especial de comercio. Y también unas interpretaciones que son, o sea, esto es súper importante para la vida y para la carrera en todas las áreas del derecho, en especial en dos, en privado y en derecho público. Haz de cuenta que es una pirámide inversa. Entonces, en el centro está la Constitución, ¿verdad? Hacia abajo tenemos todo lo que son leyes, que son de orden nacional, ordenanzas, acuerdos, hasta la decisión del alcalde municipal, en ese orden. Pero hacia arriba están todas las disposiciones internacionales. Para encontrar este equilibrio en derecho internacional, nosotros lo llamamos control de convencionalidad. Eso quiere decir que todo lo internacional va a estar en una armonía con todo lo nacional. Si la Constitución dice que el derecho, que se debe respetar el derecho a la vida, en un acuerdo internacional no puede decir que se permite el homicidio, ¿sí me entiendes? Tiene que estar concreto. Si, digamos, están hablando en la Constitución de que se permite la vulneración del derecho a la vida, pero en materia internacional me están diciendo que se respeta el derecho a la vida, esa ley de la Constitución, esa parte de la Constitución o esa ley que va en contra del ordenamiento jurídico, sale porque se respeta por control de convencionalidad lo que está arriba. Entonces, esto es algo que lo vas a ver a lo largo de tu carrera, pero en este diagrama visual, para que nunca se te olvide, en casos de materia de derecho internacional privado y derecho mercantil, en materia privada, the ancestral rules or all these ancestral dispositions, it's in the top of this parameter, right? And they really are not like saying that in public, that is something being against them, then this one needs to get out, but helps to inspire all these based or to inspire all these legal agreements for make it more fair for all the parts, right? So
Yeah.
it's a really hard topic. Don't worry about it, but we need to see it in these things. You can find a lot of videos on YouTube, and also you can find the definition in Google about the ancestral law, and you will understand the ancestral law, sorry, and you will understand it, and you will like make it yours before that all your colleagues in your career, because you are getting access to the information, and that access, saying that we are talking about the advantage of get a computer and access to internet and etc. All this access to the information help us to improve ourselves. So a lot of your colleagues right now, you are starting your career and the people are playing or getting drunk or doing a lot of things. And now you are getting access to the information. At some point of your development or your professional development, you will have a huge advantage over them. Now it's really hard because I'm trying to put the whole career in a couple of sessions, doing so fast just for teach you the vocabulary, the context, the international studies. Also, I cannot remember if you were in our lesson yesterday.
Yes, I was.
Yes, okay. In that session, we talk about all these interpretation skills. Remember, like the lex fori, lex delicti, etc. And I sent today by the WhatsApp group this research from Berkeley University. I need that you have a look, but without pressure, that you start to try to
Document,
read.
right?
Yeah, it's like 53 pages, so it's not necessary that you read it. You can start to study one, and you will start to get a lot of information in comparison of all your colleagues, and pronunciation and everything that you didn't know, you will figure out online. And it's the way that you start to getting connected with this, because I am starting from the point that all my students are lawyers and you don't. So I need that you, it's not for me, it's just always it's important to have access to this information, and everything that you didn't understand, what you are free and you don't have nothing to do, try to continue to study these topics that are really interesting and maybe can give you some idea about how this works in real life, and always supporting your knowledge by YouTube also. It's like a really useful skill for continue improving all your aspects. And don't worry about didn't understand. I tried to find one video without subtitles, but was impossible. And I want to discuss this by the United Nations experts.
I was trying to look in the YouTube if the video were this, but the video just like 1 minute, and then it sent me to the original page, so I didn't find it with subtitle.
Okay. So thank you so much for your time. Before you leave, I would please ask you that you fill the survey as
I already
all
did
night.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Welcome. Hello, how are you?
Hi, Gali.
How is
Fine, thank
everything
you.
going? Okay. You were there, you were in our last session? No, you were
No.
studying.
Mhm.
Okay. But do you have time to check the YouTube video or not really?
Yeah, I checked the YouTube video and I checked the material for speaking call today.
Oh, come on. Always. Okay. Do you listen the podcast or maybe you listen a part of video from United Nations?
Wait, I think I'm gonna get my earphones.
No worries.
I listen very well. That's okay. Can you repeat the question for me, please?
No, no worries. Give me a second that I am seeing that just Francela arrived and I want to see something going bad with the schedules. 9:15. No. No, we are fine. We are fine. Okay. I want to ask you if you had time to maybe listen a part of the podcast or video about all this information, but from United Nations or not really?
Yeah, I checked it. I saw it.
Okay. What part did you find interesting?
I think I found the explanation of what the key, the private key and the public key work together, and what is a PK, not PKI, because I don't think most people think about it or think how much it works or what's behind it when you first think about like electronic signature. You don't think about that you have to, like, you even have a third party that certifies that a signature is something that is valid, that can certificate things. And people like might think that a signature online is just you signing something in your tablet, and that's a signature. But there's other things such as these ones that are like mostly used in activities regarding the government. For example, I think my mom has one because she works for the government. So every paper that she has to sign, it's not like she prints it, signs it, scans it, and that's it. No, you get like it looks kind of like a stamp, but it's something that you stamp in your in a specific paper, and you have to do all the process, like activate it, put your code, and then it's generated, and then it's put it in the document and whatever. So it's a long process that I don't think most people know about, so that they kind of explain it in a way like it was easy to understand, because it has a lot of like it has like these visual things that you can even follow this, then later happen this, and then this, and then this. So it was easy to follow the idea. Something also interesting about it is that despite you even having this third party that says, okay, this public key was generated with this private key, and it's something that we can certificate as valid, that does not guarantee that it's you. That will never guarantee that it's you, not 100%, because you can tell like, no, but everyone has this secret private key that in theory no one but you have. But we all know that's not how it works, because what if a big lawyer has like 3 assistants? Don't you think that their assistants are going to have this kind of key? Probably they will, because a big lawyer doesn't have the time to be signing every single document. So what if the assistant messes up something? They're going to be like, you're going to go to a court and be like, no, I didn't sign that. But it's like, this was and then the third party is going to come and be like, okay, we can certify that this public key was generated with your private key. We can't tell if you did it or someone else did it, but we know it was with your private key. So does that mean that this person will be held accountable for this? Probably, depending the system they're under. But
Yeah.
it's something that is scary. Like even like in real life, when you sign something, you know someone can bridge your sign. Someone can pretend to be you. Someone can look like you even and held your ID and say, "Oh, it's me." It has happened a lot of times, identity theft and whatnot. But we have so much other methods to know when something is not from your handwritten in real life. Like there's so many studies, there's so many ways to say like, oh no, this is not from her handwriting. This is not her sign. So there's more ways to try to find, okay, this wasn't you. We can prove it's not you. But in an electronic way, there is not actually a 100% way or something that will tell, no, it wasn't from that person. So it's something scary to know, because even these days, like there's a lot of hackers and whatnot. And for example, if this is mostly used as a public servant, as someone that works for the government, as someone that has to do with a lot of documents, with money from people in general, I will be really concerned. I will be really concerned. I will hold my private key like my life, because I
Mhm.
don't want someone having my private key. And then what if it's used to sign some paper that says that I'm accepting, I don't know, $10,000 to give you a private contract.
Mhm.
What if someone signs that with my private key? There's no way that people will say, oh, it's not you, because it was done with your private key, so it must be you. So
Yeah.
that's something that they emphasize a lot in the video. So that's something that resonates still with me.
Okay, Leleska, I want that you give me your point of view from all the advantages that you can find, but also the controversial issues when we're talking about e-commerce.
I think e-commerce has opened a lot of doors for people, because back in the days, like I can buy something now from, I don't know, China and get it at a very good price. Yeah, you can also have to pay the shipping and whatnot, but I have the possibility to look from other places that I will never have had before. Like before, if I wanted to buy something, it better be in my closest mall center, or I should buy from someone I know, or from, like, I have to walk a lot of like stores to find something that I like, to find something that I want. But with e-commerce, it's so easy, not only for the people to buy, but for the all the like read for the people that sell, that want to sell. It's easy to put their product out there. Like it's easy for you to create a web page and put your products and put it like their prices and whatever. And it's easier because people can easily find you. Like it's easier for me to type, I don't know, um, red blouse and get a ton of like results. And I can buy it from them. I can put my address. I can get like emails telling me about sales and whatever. And that compared to going to a store and spend like maybe an hour trying to look for the perfect red blouse if they have it, it's kind of like a save of time, but also the time that translates into money. Also, if I do all the sales online rather than in person, I don't need to like rent a store, like the space itself. So I can do it from my own house. Like I can have all the inventory, and then okay, I have 10 packages. I just deliver them to their houses, and that's it. I don't need a physical store so that they come in, because it's not necessary. So I think e-commerce has somehow revolutionized everything that it's about selling, because now it's not about like before. For someone to go into your store, there's multiple things to it, like how it looks, like even how it looks. Like people, if you go to a store that looks fancy and you go to another store that barely holds its things together, you obviously feel a little bit more drawn to the store that is fancy and whatever. But with e-commerce, you have to think about social media. You have to think about promoting yourself. You have to think about um, packaging, like the small businesses that have raised from e-commerce and from social media have think a lot about that, about like
Mhm.
promoting their things on several social medias. And like TikTok mainly I've seen, or get a user experience, like getting a better way to pay, like an easiest way to pay for your product, delivery for free, and things like that, so that you can easily do the change from being in person and not in person. Also, it's every commerce, like every store that you open, obviously needs an investment. But if you would do an e-commerce, you start with something maybe a little less needed. Because if I want to start my own clothing line, of course I need to like invest some sort of for the material, for the clothes itself, for the packaging or whatnot. But I have the advantage that I don't need to rent a place. So that's already money saved. So I think e-commerce more than any other time, it's better to jump into e-commerce now. I think it's really useful, and even more these days, because no one, like with COVID and things, people will barely go to stores anymore. Like malls were already dying, and now they're gonna die even more due to COVID.
Yeah, you're true. You're so right in all your intervention or your speech. And I want to know if in some of your lessons in law school, do you listen before this ancestral law?
I've had like law related to signatures and related to computers as an overall. So yeah, I kind of get the idea of it. So when I was watching the video, I kind of understood about it.
Okay. It's always so important that we try to get like all the information that comes from that commission, because that can help all or national process or arbitrations. I know that you are like quite in love for this area of private law. With more reasons, it would be useful for you if you are talking about international private law. So you can get a lot of interpretations, cases, jurisprudence to apply from this ancestral world. They always create informs like every couple of months, and you can use it if you are maybe having a case as a way to interpretation. And they are like the biggest commission in this matter. So will be important because we cannot study one of these cases like so deeply because of the time. We are almost finished with this process, but I am giving you, and now the Francela that is listen, I want to give you all the skills for try to get all the information about yourself when I am not here with you. But all this ancestral world is so important when you are getting like huge and important arbitration process or matters in your country. I saw it talking about commerce and international commerce, trades, but the regulations that they are having is so advanced in comparison to our countries. And we can take advantage for that if we want to create like a profile or profile as a researchers, or also if we want to try to implement some, I don't know, new laws or new agreements in our legal sector. And it's a good idea to get contact with that. So if you didn't like saw it like so deeply, or you didn't study never and inform from them, I guess that is a good opportunity to do it. Okay. Before you leave, because our time is done right now, I will please ask you that you fill the survey, and I will see you tomorrow in our lesson.
Okay, I sent it.
Okay, Laleska, thank you so much for your time. I will see you tomorrow. Sleep well, rest. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Francela, we are here.
Hola,
¿Cómo estás?
bien, ¿y usted?
Juiciosa. ¿Allá utilizan ese término, juiciosa o juicioso? Súper, aquí en Bolivia no. Cuando les dije juiciosa era como, ¿qué? Y yo, ¿qué? Juiciosos. Bueno, me alegra mucho. Francela, I saw that yesterday you was like You were like doing shopping or doing all these things, and I figured out that it was quite hard to stay in our lesson. So until what part did you listen, or I want to know if maybe did you find some of this information today, or maybe you have a look about this topic. And also, I want to know if you listened the podcast or you saw the video, and you told me a little bit about it. I want to listen your opinion. What do you think that is important, relevant in this matter?
Okay, I reviewed the class you gave yesterday, and I saw the video of the 45 minutes, I think, and it brought me a lot of things here to my mind, because it was at the beginning it was explaining about the electronic commerce, and it was explaining that there have been more than 30 countries who adopt the electronic commerce. And then it was explaining about the like three phases that it has when it comes to when you deliver a message, when the other party receives the message, and when you dispatch the message. Okay, it was about the electronic commerce, and it was telling that, for example, when you're printing an email, this is not like an original communication, it is a copy. So those are kind of things that that you can daily perform activities like those. And it didn't came to my mind that printing an email is making a copy of original communication. Then when it changed to electronic signatures, this is something that we need to perform here in Costa Rica. For example, I would provide you with an example. Now that we have restricted plates, since Jasmine is the legal representative of our company, every month we should be updating the information in the letter that she is composing, authorizing me to drive in my car, even if there is a card restricted plate. So at the beginning of the pandemic, she used to sign the letter, but then we decided that if she has an electronic signature, that would be the method that we're going to use, just in case if one of the police officers stops me while I'm driving. So
Okay.
this is part of the things that we didn't realize, that if she has like that electronic signature, that's something of the things that she can sign for me. Then when I saw the video, it was explaining that the governments, even if the signature is being recognized at different parts around the world, the method that the governments are using are different. So for example, if you sign the paperwork electronically, and if you want to send it internationally, it is not going to be accepted, because maybe the method that your country adopt for that use is not the same that other places are using. So to me, it becomes useless, because it's just valid within your country. Now about the method that it was explaining about the method that can be used to enter the information. It was describing a part in where it can be done by a PIN number, or facial biometrics, or the one-time password, and cryptographic techniques. It was explaining about how you can enter your fingerprints, and it can make you valid because that is recognizing you. And well, some of the documents that can be adopted, I did research about some of the documents that can be that now in business are being used by the electronic signature, and I have them here. It says that banking procedures in high-level contracting, like mortgages and pension letters, are now being certified or sent with the digital signature. Then it was explaining that also it can be used for tourism and mobility, because that can be the way in where you can confirm check-in when you're arriving at the hotel. And the process of electronic administration and other related citizens organizations. So it was explaining that even if you are not working for the public sector of your country, you are allowed to use your digital signature or your electronic signature. Then I was checking because it was telling that it's like a kind of a key that should use like a method and to encrypt the information. So I read that the name of it is algoritmo matemático hash, but I didn't have time to check out how does it.
Yeah, like hash code. I just learned it. I never listened before.
You have never listened it? And yes, it says that like the document is being liable and that is the original document and it hadn't been modified, or like that is the way in where you can feel confident that the document you sign is the one that was signed by the electronic signature, and that you're not like the kind of the risk, the level of risk that you can suffer is lower than if you're handwriting your signature.
Yes, perfect. And analyzing all these trade commerce and all these international standards or ideas that you figured out today, what do you think that is the most difficult part to this private law sector? What do you think that can, or how do you think that this technology, if you want to call it in that way, can affect us, and how we can take it as a huge benefit? Like,
okay,
give me the both points of view, please.
Okay, here in Costa Rica, there are two parties that can certify a signature. One of them is, well, some documents are being authenticated by an attorney, but depending on the documents that you are trying to authenticate, the government would request a public notary to authenticate those signatures of the signers in the document. So if you're using, well, not all of the documents are now allowed to receive like a electronic signature. So here in Costa Rica, first of all, you become an attorney or a lawyer, and then after 2 years of being an attorney, you can become a public notary. But now if there is a way to certify by the electronic signature that you are the one who signed the document, it lowers the opportunity that you have to obtain money or to do your job, because there is already a method, an electronic method certifying that the signers are the ones who sign the paper. So that's part of, for example, if you're asking me directly for the profession here, this is something that can start affecting us. But now, depending on the amount of documents as a private company or a public institution, it depends on how many documents you should be signing per day. And if you're using the electronic signature, that's a benefit for you because you just need to enter the PIN number and it's easier than doing handwriting. And your identity can be protected. And it lowers the exposure that you can suffer for identity theft, because the document at the bottom would says it was digitally signed and it has your name and the date and the hour. So if someone is telling no, she is the one who signed it early and they cannot prove it because they are pretending that you are the one who signed in handwriting, that's something that can make you more confident. So it makes things easier.
Yeah, and all the proceedings also. How is this technology being like helping or working on your judicial system? Do you have idea?
It is working because,
Like
for
all this
example,
digital world on it.
Now you're not going to find like okay, when you're here in Costa Rica, when you need to renew your cédula,
Yeah, your
you should
ID.
go ahead and handwrite your
Your ID.
your ID. Yes, you should go ahead and use like an electronic pen to write down your signature. Okay, so everybody or everyone can see your signature. So if you lose your ID and it has your signature handwriting, and then if you need to change it, as I did 2 weeks ago, everyone who has access to my previous cedula would know what is my signature. Now, if I change it and I move to electronic signatures, that is going to protect my identity. And now in our legal system, when you're going to the court, the officers, not all of them are using like the handwriting to sign. They are using the electronic signature. So it makes the system more efficient than it was. And again, if you work at an office, for example, if you are like the manager of a huge company here, and if you need to sign different kind of letters going to different companies, you can go ahead and use your electronic signature, and that protects you. And you can say, well, this is the document that I saw, is the one that I read before, and it's the one that I approve, and this is my electronic signature. So if somebody is trying to apply changes to the document or the draft document that was shown to you, that's the way for you to cover your back and say, this is not what I approved, or this is not what I saw before.
And in your legal studies, or maybe at your work, did you listen about ancestral law, or is your first time connected with these topics?
With what? I'm sorry?
Ancestral law.
Ancestral law?
Las leyes uncitral o las reglas uncitral. ¿Nunca
No, this is the first time that I hear them.
Okay. How you know in this case, we will not have time to study so deeply and complete it because of the time, right? We need to continue moving to the next topics. So basically, the ancestrals are some rules or aspects that have been working in some legal systems or some organizations. And all these compliance is created by the United Nations. So it's a specific commissions that get knowledge in international trade law. Como en español, su traducción y sus siglas sería algo así como CNUDMI, ¿sí? Que es como la Comisión de Naciones Unidas para el Derecho Mercantil Internacional. Y ellos nos van a dar unos principios, unas bases de estudio, de interpretación, de unas bases de doctrina, si lo queremos traer como una fuente, para todos los casos, en especial de comercio nacional, pero de arbitramiento y mediación. Entonces, estos principios o estas normas, también los informes que ha adelantado este organismo de Naciones Unidas, son muy buenos cuando nos queremos meter en este tema de comercio internacional, electrónico, bancario, bursátil, privado. Y es algo súper público donde se puede tener acceso siempre, más que tú estás relacionado con ese tema internacional, puede ser muy útil, porque no es como que hay una Corte Internacional de Justicia, una Corte Internacional o una Corte Interamericana de Derechos Humanos. Ese órgano internacional vinculante no es tan claro en materia de comercio internacional y en especial del derecho de los tratados en materia privada. Así que este viene siendo como el reemplazo de algún organismo consultor internacional, ¿ok? La ley es uncitral o normas uncitral. Puro arbitraje internacional. Esto es base top.
Se dice las leyes son citral.
Uncitral.
Uncitral.
In English, will be pronounced like ancestral. Ancestral. And yeah, it's really useful. Maybe we can practice, or we can talk about. I was like, maybe we can talk about this, but I also check this video that will like push you to understand, because we didn't have the subtitles. And yeah, this is an expert, so I just take the decision. But hopefully we can study a little bit about ancestral law, are so useful, or rules, depending on the point of view that you want to call it, because basically a law is not. And you can get reference about all the international experience with trade, trademarks, and commerce, tendons, and all the matters that have been involved in these international treaties, but from private law, right? Okay, Francela, our time is done. Thank you so much for your time, your opinion. I will see you tomorrow. And before you leave, I will please ask you as always that you feel survey. And that's it for tonight. Thank you so much.
Gracias. Buenas noches.
Gracias a ti. Descansa. Chao, chao. Karen, hello. We are
Hi.
having good internet. I don't have any trouble today, so I don't want to
Ah.
be the first one. How are you?
Been good. Fine, fine, fine. So
How
tired,
is
but
everything going? Yeah, I imagine. I am quite tired too. But we
it
almost
is
finished.
because yeah. No, it is because I took on Saturdays courses. So
Mm-hmm.
it's from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So I have been like this from 9 months ago. So by this time I'm really tired.
And
But
course about what?
Ah, I don't know, notariado, o sea,
Okay.
especialización en notariado. Ujú.
Ah, it's like a post graduation.
It's
Okay.
because in Costa Rica are separated the both
Areas.
areas, lawyer and notary.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm. So
Nice.
if you could doing both at the same time, but if you have to get the or to being authorized by the state
Mm-hmm.
to work in the boat, you need to finish your low
Career
career
or studies?
and
Mm-hmm.
take an specialization or master in notariado.
Or
So
graduation. You can talk about postgrades or studies courses or specialized courses.
exactly. So
Okay, I can imagine. But how is the process to become an authority? It's really hard, because in Colombia it's a lot of corruption. You just go there if your family is.
really, yeah, here in Costa Rica, there are many problems with notaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the corruption. But the process to get in the DNN, that is the Dirección Nacional de Notariado, it's very complex because if you have not the postgrade,
Postgrade.
yeah,
Postgrade. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
postgrade or similars, you couldn't access to that. Uh, to being to be in the bar here in Costa Rica, to be part of the Colegio de Abogados, you must to
Yeah.
take an exam to
Mm-hmm.
demonstrate your knowledge and ethics and the vote, but with in the same time, in the same way, the notaries. But in the practice, when you get the access to to work in that field, many notaries do bad decisions, and they usually being involved in corruption and drugs and traffic and everything. So it's it's not the rule, but it's every year appears a lot of cases, more than the last year. So it's something that it's increasing right now.
Okay, perfect. And it's really important to start to open our eyes to different realities, and especially when it comes from other countries, and see that we are the same, just with different names. Yeah,
Yes.
but I didn't know that you were studying, sorry. And okay, we will discuss tonight
Mhm,
going in our topic. Do you
mhm.
have time to listen the podcast, part of the podcast, or maybe see the video that is the same information?
Okay, I reached to here 30 minutes, the half of
Okay,
the of the podcast. Yes.
okay. What part do you find really interesting?
I think the part most important for me, for example, what's about the functional equivalence,
Hmm?
because in every field in law, technology invades these areas. So at the end, the problem it's the same, not just in trade law, it's in everything, because technology it's more advantage to civil law or
Mm-hmm.
rules, or in general the rules. So some it's a needed to adapt the law or the law forms in the new reality. So I'm agree with the expert that it's important to find the way to adapt the law forms, especially in contracts, because you have to be capable to have flexibility in the law to adapt that, while the technology is advancing in the
So
world.
fast.
So yeah, exactly. Actually, he mentioned a phrase that I don't remember literally, but he said something like, technology it's always in front of the law or something like that. Yeah, and was very important, because I think that that applies in every field. Actually, I was hearing in the podcast about devices as some other ways to for example to be I to verify the authenticity of the traders in the commerce. So I would like to show you my firma digital digital firm.
Okay, not too much, not
This,
too much. Because we know
yeah.
that we don't know who is seeing.
Okay, in Costa Rica, you have the option to validate your identity in commerce or anything in procedures in institutions, for example, with this card. This card, you
Wow, you're so
yeah.
technological. Hmm.
Yeah, actually, if you have to get a meeting in the bank, in any bank, private or public bank, and you have to go personal
Yeah,
personally.
yeah.
Yeah, and they take your fingerprints
Mm-hmm.
and verify, and they take you a photo and verify that you really are the person that it's soliciting this card, or
Or
for
the
example
request that they
the
request the card. Mm-hmm.
request the card. So when that filter it's
Test
already,
or
yeah,
already done.
already done, you have to introduce in a computer without any person could watch
Around.
that, yeah, around. And you have to choose a pin, a personal pin, that you are the only person that know that pin. So if you lose or
Forget it.
forget your password, you have to take another card
Oh.
and start the procedure. So when that it's done, that chip here, that
Mhm.
chip, you have to introduce that in a device that it's adapted by USB in your computer, or maybe your computer could be incorporate that
Technology.
device exactly. So when you introduce that and you validate your pin in the system, that sends some information to the national bank system, and that verifies that this card is valid and you are the person that is using that. So if you firm any document, contract, or form with that, that is a proof that you are the person that is doing that. and
Wow.
and the information back and the document have a digital signature that said that it's confirmed the authenticity, and it's valid, and anything data that any person could access, for example, a complete name and last names, and the hour that you are doing the signature, that IP or location of your firm. That is very very complex and very exact in terms of information and database. So I was very 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 interest in in this topic, because I found that this kind of technology is named biometric system. So
Okay.
I didn't realize that. Actually, I think it's a mixing in asymmetric cryptography and biometric, but you have to introduce a pin, and also this device provides you a validation with the national system. So it was very very interesting in the podcast. So
I cannot believe it. I cannot believe that you have a lot of technology, and I can understand how we are so bad in comparison to Costa Rica. Starting for the army and going to these kind of things. This is crazy. If you want to put your identity like clear for the government, you need to pay a lot of money, and you need to be like a businesswoman or businessman that really you use it a lot, because it's really expensive to get one.
really,
And
actually, I have to point that this was provided by my institution. But if you are a
uh,
particular person, this have a cost of around $60 with the device included, everything.
thank you. I will buy your product. You're a really good seller. I
Yeah,
understand all the benefits of this.
actually, if I want to, for example, doing procedures to get holidays, vacations in my work, I need to use this card because
Ah.
my boss actually signature the approval of that request, and then when there are the vote signatures, that pass to human resources to be finally approved with everything. But without car, I could be sure that I didn't work. Even I use this card to signature my I have my letters to other institutions or requests of information in organizations of that. I send that my letters with that validation using email. So right now we are in that point. It's
Yeah,
an work instrument, very very useful.
super. Other thing that I want to ask you in this minute is, do you think, tell me one advantage and something controversial about all this commercial and technological world, but from the point of view of a lawyer?
Okay. Benefits. I pointed a lot of in few minutes ago because it's very useful to verify in this kind of devices or other biometrics or asymmetrical. That I think asymmetrical could be that name that call captcha, that is codes that give you a single code, for example, are very useful to doing a fast trade around the world, for example. But the disadvantages that I found, it's if someone knows how to violate that security, for example, I would be in very danger and in troubles, legal troubles, because someone could maybe use that for doing illegal contracts or actions are similar. And I think that this little car, for example, have a lot of it's a heavy situation on me and and that means that I have a lot of responsibility to take that in secure place and everything, for example. So I think the most important thing is that also that includes every data that you provide in a database. So if the bank or the national system, for example, it's cyber attacked, it's probably, for example, that it's, I don't know, if WikiLeaks found a way to take information from FBI and everything. I think that it could be possible to get information from that any database. So I think that the intangible data that are not in paper have this kind of problems that there are in a drive in
In the
real world.
universe.
Exactly. I actually I didn't know at this point how that works. I know that it's
Neither. I know that internet works in the air. That's it.
exactly. I don't imagine how it works, but I know that the situation that it is an
Intangible.
intangible place makes that more
Creo que ese suena como una I. Es más intangible.
untangible place that makes more no that makes or there are more probability that being in attack under cyber, I don't know how do you say hackers or
hackers.
Yeah, exactly, something in this way. So it's very complicated. And I know, for example, I have um how I could say trust in the bank and the system, but I'm conscious that it could be a possibility. So it's very important to keep these kind of devices in a safe place. And I know that actually because many years ago, I was I how can I say, when someone took your stuffs, robbery, part of a robbery.
Robbed. I was robbed.
Yeah, it was very traumatic, but I could right now tell
Move
the
on.
story happy and everything. But someone took my belongings, and and use everything, ID card for boy, I don't know, cable, telephones, and everything appears in by my name. So every time that appears a contract in for cable, telephones, or everything, I have to go to the judicial branch to make the I don't know, remember the word denuncia, but to notify them that that was happening.
Yeah, I need to put a suit. I need to put a suit to demand them. I need to do the request, the legal
Yeah,
request.
I didn't the suit. Yeah, yeah. And
To
so
them.
I know that it's very problematic situation. So really, I do everything in my hands to keep that safe. So that's our
Yeah.
that are the disadvantages. But against that, I think that there are more advantages to disadvantages. So.
Okay. Okay, Karen, always so useful. Listen your points of view, and I am like, it's unbelievable that you are creating this kind of systems. Thanks,
Yeah.
Costa Rica. I want to live there one day. You listen that universe,
Yeah,
and I will see
actually,
you. Actually, what?
yeah. No, actually, it's funny because sometimes there are here stuff that are very technological, but others are very archaic. So it depends. But in this kind of devices, we are in advance.
Going. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, Karen, before you leave, I will please ask you that you fill the survey, and I will see you
I
tomorrow in our
already
lesson. Do
I
it?
already did it. Yeah. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you so
Bye.
much. Thanks to you. Bye-bye. Crisia, hello. Sorry that I let you by the end, but I have been troubles because some people didn't arrive and other ones arrived at the same time. I was like, panic. But I know that we have like different times, so I guess that is not too late there. Here is like 10 at night.
Here is 8.
Okay, so it's not so traumatic. And okay, this topic, the first thing that I need to explain to you is like it's so complicated because it's like the top or the most important thing in international private law. Um, I cannot find some video about it or the video that I wanted in with subtitles. And the accent of the speaker is really hard to understand. So no worries if you just catch a bit. Did you stay with me in the lesson, in the yesterday lesson?
Yes.
Yes, okay. But do you understand the lesson?
Mm.
¿Qué partes
Yes.
no entendiste? Vamos a hacer esa parte en español. ¿Qué parte no entendiste? ¿Qué parte resultó mamona para ti? Y yo te lo explico en español y luego te lo explico en inglés.
No sé, es que siento todo ahorita así, porque en la universidad también me están hablando sobre, me están haciendo como adelantos también sobre eso. Entonces es como un tema que en derecho constitucional me hablaron de eso, derecho romano, pero solo fue como no me lo hablaron así tan exacto, sino que como que lo mencionaron y medio lo explicaron y me dice la directora de la facultad, nos dice, mejor dicho, perdón, tranquilo, yo sé que ahorita no me entienden, dice, porque están empezando, yo me estoy adelantando mucho, dice. Entonces me confundí, o sea, así, total.
No te confundas, mira, tú tranqui. Ayer hablamos de derecho internacional, ¿verdad? El derecho internacional regula muchos aspectos, pero en el que nos enfocamos ayer es el derecho privado internacional. ¿Qué significa eso? Que si hay una parte dentro de esas negociaciones que pertenece a otro país, algún suministro, algún producto, algún envío, algún transporte, nos vamos a ir a ese derecho internacional privado, ¿verdad? Ese derecho internacional privado, esto es súper básico, es básico, algunas personas no lo vieron en la universidad, pero es importante. Hay unas leyes, hay una comisión, que es una comisión de las Naciones Unidas, para el derecho mercantil internacional que establece algunas reglas de interpretación, alguna doctrina, como por ejemplo, si las vacas nacieron en Alemania, se van a regir bajo la ley alemana, si así la leche se venda en Suiza, ¿sí? Por ejemplo, entonces, cada vez que yo tengo un problema en un país relacionado a todo ese tema de comercio y del derecho de los negocios como sectores privados, pero con grandes inversionistas o con algún elemento de otro país, yo puedo utilizar estas reglas. Estas reglas se llaman las reglas UNCITRAL. Y en inglés sería como like ancestral. Y estas reglas nos establecen, que era lo que estaba comentando el tipo hoy, algunos mecanismos de carácter internacional para facilitar el comercio electrónico, porque si yo quiero comprar si yo estoy en Colombia y quiero comprar la vaca azul que están produciendo en Alemania, pues yo tengo que enviar la plata a Alemania, ellos tienen que poner la vaca en un container, ponerla en el océano, ponerla en un avión y traérmela a Colombia. En esa negociación pueden pasar muchas cosas. El avión se puede caer, el barco se puede hundir, la plata no puede llegar, me pueden hackear las cuentas, me resulta que me estafaron. Y si a mí me estafan en otro país, ¿a quién recurro? ¿Verdad? Cuando estamos hablando de todo este tema de empresas grandes y de comercio grandes, entramos a un tema que es el arbitramiento. El arbitramiento nacional o internacional es básicamente que tú vendes pollo, yo soy a la avícola más grande de Bolivia, yo te digo, mire, si tenemos un problema usted y yo, vamos a pagarle a un par de personas para que lo decidan o vamos a solicitar un arbitraje para que esa persona en derecho con su conocimiento especializado tome una decisión y no vamos a iniciar un proceso que dure 7 años. Esos acuerdos arbitrales se utilizan mucho en materia internacional y en materia de derecho privado internacional, porque ellos saben que perder 7 años en un juzgado es mejor pagarle a unos expertos o a un tribunal ad hoc, que se escribe así, que significa no otra cosa que especializado o experto en un área, ad hoc. ¡Ay! Perdón, ad hoc, así. ¡Ay! Ad hoc. Entonces, eso pasa, ¿sí? La clase de hoy que está o la clase de hoy, el video que era este tipo de, por ejemplo, de firmas electrónicas, que hay unos pines donde se puede certificar la identidad de la persona mediante la firma. En mi país hay una empresa que lo hace que se llama Certicámaras, pero es un tema muy complejo saber digitalmente cuándo realmente una persona lo emitió o no. Y ellos establecen estas reglas. Cuando tú colocas en Google un citral, ¿qué es? Un citral ejemplos, un citral casos, un citral informes, vas a tener un gran acceso a información, que esto lo vas a estar viendo en tu cuarto o quinto año de carrera. ¿Ok? But no worries. ¿Bien? So now, how do you understand everything that I said? I told you that like the same thing in English because I need that to practice. And with that, we will finish our speaking right now, okay? So focus, because you know what I'm saying. When we're talking about international law, we have two huge areas, public international law and private international law. Everything that we are involved in one case, we need to ask for respect, or we need to ask to a superior judge for solve of our troubles. In this case, in private law, when we're talking about business, commerce, customers, and etc., the biggest stage, or one of the biggest organizations that oversee this is a special committee of United Nations called UNCITRAL. And they start to give some advices or some point of views for the international arbitration. And we can ask for, or we can take all this information to sustain or support our case in our countries, right? Because it's a specific interpretation. When we're talking about international private law, we are without doubt talking about a contract or a business that have been involving a lot of people, consequences, topic, materials that belongs to different countries. And that makes that business turns complex, because if I want to buy a blue coat from Germany, I need to send it to Colombia by boat, by airplane, and we can have accidents. The boats can go to the bottom of the oceans, the airplane can just crash in the mountains, and my coat will never arrive. But also the people can rob me, the people can use my data, can use my ID, my identification. They can take the money and never send the code. So when I am involved in these international cases, this affects too much, because I cannot ask for help to anybody. It's really hard that I do it. But when I'm like a businesswoman, or if I am an investor, I will figure out that for me it will be better that in case of a trouble, for example, that you and me, you sell some products that I am needing, but we have a lot of money, and we know that maybe we cannot continue doing businesses, we don't will finish our relationship by a tribunal or by a judge. We will make a negotiation between us, or we can call for an arbitration, and we will pay to the experts, and then we solve the trouble easily. This is like private justice, es como una justicia privada. So, no worries if you didn't understand, because this topic is so dense. Es un tema muy denso, es un tema muy difícil, más porque tú no has estudiado esto. La clase de ayer eran como fuentes de interpretación, que como del lugar de los hechos, las leyes del lugar, donde se encuentra el bien inmueble, o etcétera. Pero esto en materia de comercio internacional. Ahora, estas fuentes de interpretación que vas a comenzar a verlas en Introducción al Derecho, cambian mucho cuando estamos hablando de Introducción al Derecho general, las normas de interpretación, ¿sí? Entonces, eso lo vas a ver, no te confundas. Hay muchas normas de interpretación, hay muchas maneras de interpretar las cosas, ¿sí? También desde el punto de vista en materia penal, desde causas, cómo aborda una prueba. Todo esto son temas que lo vas a ir sacando a lo largo de tu carrera, pero no te llenes de ansiedad e intenta comprender las cosas como vienen de la manera más fácil. ¿Sí?
Sí.
Entonces, ¿entendiste?
Sí.
Ok, súper. Ya me doy por bien servida. Okay, Christian, we are done for tonight. I will please ask you that you fill the survey.
Yes.
And yeah, that's it.
Gracias, Carly.
Gracias a ti, descansa y nos vemos mañana en clase.
Sí, primero 10, gracias.
Chao, adiós.
Bye.
Bye. Oli, bebé, hágale. Yo voy a averiguar todo. Me imagino cómo están ustedes.